All right, good evening. It is September 18th, and it is 6:32, I think. 6:36, and we'll go ahead and return from closed session. All board members are present, and I'd also like to welcome Heather Roselli as our student rep, and we'll get to her in just a few minutes. Report of action taken on closed session items. There was nothing to report. And that'll take us to the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Kim.
Thank you, President Peterson. It is great seeing everyone tonight, and it's great back being in session. As we have become accustomed to, we have Glen Oak Elementary providing their night to shine, and they're going to start first with Ms. Sharon Greaves introducing the Pledge of Allegiance student representative. Ms. Greaves?
Good evening, everyone. I see it really is Glen Oak night here at the board. We're excited to see Ms. Roselli here, a former Glen Oak student. And now I'd like to thank you for having me tonight to present our students and our community partners. So good evening, Board President Mr. Peterson, Vice President Dr. Aguilar, and all of our trustees. To all those in attendance, thank you for welcoming us from Glen Oak to share about our students and our community partners. Our flag salute tonight will be led by Miss Leah Alvarado. Come on up, Leah. Let me share a little about Leah. Today, we're proud to have Leah, a fifth grader from Mrs. Shedletsky and Mrs. Wiseman's class, leading us in the flag salute. Leah is a truly dedicated student, and she shows us all what it means to set goals and work hard to achieve them. Each trimester, I have the honor of welcoming Leah to the podium to receive multiple awards for her hard work and her dedication as a scholar. As a sister and mentor, Leah is remarkable. According to her family, she's patient and kind and enjoys coaching and supporting her younger sister, Lena, with math, spelling, reading, and dance. Leah has learned to balance her love of academics with a passion for dance, a skill that requires incredible discipline. She puts in great effort year-round, showcasing her talent every summer at the Bonita Center for the Arts. Leah is skilled at both jazz and hip hop. And I'm wondering, do you think, look out at this crowd, you think you got something to teach us? No. Speaking for myself, I think I'd take a lot more than one night to teach. Her kindness in helping others and her love of learning have inspired Leah to set her greatest and highest goal yet. One day, Leah wants to become, like her amazing mother, a teacher, a goal that we are excited to applaud and encourage you, Leah, to pursue. We have no doubt that with your determination, you will achieve that and so much more. So without further ado, please welcome Leah Alvarado.
Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hands over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may please take your seats.
Well done. Okay, Leah and family, come on up. This is your opportunity. The board has something to present you with, and we'd love a photo op.
Ms. Greaves, if you can continue on with your superstar student and then your partner in education, please.
Very good. Tonight, we honor a student who exemplifies the power of transformation. Please join me in welcoming Israel Villegas. Israel? Israel, when he was younger, faced some challenges, and he recognizes that he was spending time with friends who were making some not the best choices. But with immense courage and support from his parents, Israel decided to alter his path. Quite a mature step for a young scholar. Israel's parents helped guide him with a mix of earned rewards and clear consequences, and Israel credits them for helping him turn things around. He now says, I like hanging with my friends. We really care about other people. And I can tell you that we've seen the change. Recently, during a basketball game, Israel took a position of courage and leadership. When a student fell to the ground, some students kept playing. But when the ball came to Israel, he stopped cold. He pointed everyone to the student on the ground, and the crowd shifted to a posture of help and caring. The student was assisted and was able to recover. The game resumed. Not many students have the boldness to challenge others to stop and do the right thing, but that's Israel. Israel's growth has been remarkable. His mother notes that he's matured significantly, and a major part of his journey has been his involvement in sports. He's become an all-star baseball player and a select player in soccer, showing a new focus and determination. At home, he's a caring and supportive older brother, acting as a nurturing role model for his two younger sisters. His family and all of us at Glen Oak are incredibly proud of the person of character that Israel Villegas has become. We are honored to recognize Israel tonight as our star student. Family, come on up. Thank you, Israel. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, we are on to our community partners. I'm so excited tonight to introduce you to two amazing crossing guards who are the first and last friendly faces many of our students see each day. They are truly Glen Oak's community partners. I'm going to start with Rochelle Fisher. Rochelle, will you come on up? Rochelle has a fascinating career journey from a time at Hughes Aerospace to her work at Barnes & Noble. In every role, Rochelle has looked for opportunities to learn, grow, and mentor others, which makes her perfectly suited to guide the next generation as our crossing guard. But Rochelle's dedication goes far beyond directing traffic. During a recent accident near the school, Rochelle calmly worked with police and fire to ensure that students crossed safely. She kept them calm and out of harm's way. She even has taken it upon herself to learn Spanish so she can connect more deeply with our students and their families. A true example of someone going the extra mile. And Rochelle, I may be soliciting your help because my Spanish is muy mal. Rochelle's generosity doesn't stop at the crosswalk. She regularly collects and donates items for students in need. At a recent bingo game, she pledged to donate half of her winnings to buy school supplies for kids and inspired others to join her in giving. Rochelle is pushing her senior crowd from bingo to backpacks. Last year, I witnessed a moment that perfectly captured Rochelle's impact. One of our really challenging students was at Rochelle's crosswalk. And that morning, I witnessed as that student made a connection with Rochelle. They were laughing together, they were smiling, and I saw that genuine connection, that genuine care that changes lives. At that moment, I realized Rochelle is one of those adults who can truly reach students and model what kindness, respect, and caring look like in action. Rochelle says, I see potential in every single scholar, and we see the difference you make every day. And just a little secret, if you ever try to rush across her crosswalk, don't bother. Rochelle has an uncanny ability to make even the fastest runner slow down and make a connection with her. She offers that smile before they move on. Thank you, Rochelle. It is an honor to recognize you as Glen Oaks Community Partner. We're so fortunate to have you as a part of our community and a role model for all of us. Thank you. Come on up. I have one more. Today, we're honored to recognize someone who makes a difference for our Eagles, our crossing guard, Mario Caldera. Come on up, Mario. Mario's story is one of service, heart, and community. Before joining us, Mario worked as a paralegal in Woodland Hills. The work was meaningful, but not always fulfilling. There was a lot of arguing, I hear, and stressful situations. Mario began to feel a pull towards something different, something more connected to people and the joy he finds outside. Around the same time, he returned to the area to care for his now 95-year-old mother, a decision that says a lot about the kind of person that Mario is. When he saw a job posting for crossing guard, he thought about his love for kids, his love for community, and like the Nike ad says, he thought, just do it. Since then, Mario has been a friendly, welcoming face, greeting students and families early in the morning and at the end of the day. He loves being outside, interacting with people, and encouraging our students as they begin their day. Mario even reminds kids that they get to choose to have a good day. His positive energy is contagious. But Mario's connection to our school goes beyond the crosswalk. He visits classrooms every year, talking about what it means to be a community helper. Mrs. Cannings always remarks about how much students enjoy meeting him and learning about who he is and why he does what he does. Outside of school, Mario and his partner of 25 years, Irma, enjoy salsa dancing, a passion that keeps them active and having fun and ready to be out there on the crosswalk. Mario says he was inspired by neighbors in his own childhood who cared for him, looked out for others, and now he strives to be that same kind of role model for our Eagles. Mario often says that we are his third family, and we think it's safe to say the feeling is very much mutual. We are grateful for the safety, joy, and community spirit that Mario brings every day and shares with our Eagle families and our entire community. So, Mario Caldera. Thank you.
Okay, that's going to take us to our student representative report, and we'd like to welcome Heather Roselli from Charter Oak High School, and we also have Kimbria Williams from Arrow, but she's not here today because she's ill. But Heather, will you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Heather Roselli, and I have been a part of the Charter Oak Unified School District for 13 years and have been a student at Charter Oak High School for all 4 years. During my time, I have served in ASB for 4 years, and I'm serving my second term as the school's financial director. Along with being a part of ASB, I'm a two-sport athlete for flag football, where I serve as a varsity floater and JV captain, along with being a varsity golfer for 3 consecutive years. Along with these external feats, on campus, I serve as the vice president for Gateway to College, an active member of Key Club, and the assistant photographer for the choir department. I pride myself most in academics, where I've taken a total of 7 IB and AP courses, all while maintaining a 4.0 GPA. I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I look forward to seeing what the year will hold. Thank you.
Okay, Heather, now you're up for your report.
Aye.
Thank you.
This year at Charter Oak, it's been an exciting and energetic start to the school year. We've launched this year with the Rooted to Rise theme, where the focus on helping students grow, get rooted, and rise both academically and through extracurricular opportunities. We kicked things off with our Back to School Luau held on the day before school. It was our best turnout yet and a great way to build community engagement. One of the most memorable moments for our school this year was our football team's game at the SoFi Stadium against Upland High School. It was an unforgettable experience. The school organized Rooter buses to transport our band, athletes, and over 100 students to cheer on our Chargers. The support was incredible and the energy was electric. We followed that with an amazing tailgate event at our first home game, where the Chargers pulled off a thrilling 34-33 win in the final minute with a touchdown by CJ Alcron Sr. We also just wrapped up our Spirit Week for the rally, which included one of the best night rallies we've ever had, and we announced our homecoming court there. We're especially proud to recognize senior Nash Flores, who is named a semifinalist in the 2025 National Merit Scholarship Program. Less than 1% of high school seniors nationwide earn this distinction, and Nash qualified for this because he earned a perfect score on the PSAT. In the arts, senior Micah Kawasaki earned 3rd place in the Pomona Valley Art Association's Young Artist Show, with her beautiful painting displayed in Claremont at the Huge Center. Our theater department is hard at work preparing for their upcoming production of Irving Belling's Holiday Inn, the musical, and we're excited to see it come to life on stage. Along with that, we have our choir department performing tonight at the middle school for their fall showcase, and they will be performing in the candlelight ceremony at Disneyland later this year. And finally, this week, we're celebrating College Week, where we've had college presentations, IB and AP information sessions, and a special visit from Senator Susan Rubio, who spoke with our senior government and economics classes earlier today. And we want to thank you all for the support for the students and programs, and we're off to a strong start and excited for everything this year has in store.
All right, thank you, Heather, and welcome. That'll take us to our ROP report. Mr. Rose. Oh, I'm sorry. You got the other report? Yeah. All right, yeah.
All right. Glen Oak is off to a stellar start. Teachers and the care team are making a huge difference by connecting with students every morning. It's truly amazing to see how Glen Oak staff prioritizes the well-being of every student. The care team greets students with a warm welcome as they enter campus, and Glen Oak educators continue that warmth with a greeting at the classroom door. This focus on caring for the child first and then the scholar within is what makes every Eagle feel welcome and cared for. Care team members visit classrooms every day to offer support. Mr. Reyes, Community Schools Program Specialist, and Mrs. Ashford, Counselor, offers students breaks, social and emotional tools and resources, and counseling services. Glen Oak's Behavior Intervention Specialist, Ms. Acko, is in classrooms providing support, encouragement, and help with student engagement throughout the day. You've heard it said, students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Glen Oak's entire team is dedicated to showing students just how much we care. Mastering math is also a top priority at Glen Oak. Educators are focused on providing high-quality math instruction and resources to help every student succeed. Glen Oak recently dedicated a professional development minimum day to studying Common Core and iReady sources. This training, led by 2 of Glen Oak's teachers, providing staff with new tools and strategies to meet the diverse needs of their students. By using iReady diagnostics, students are also setting their own reading and math goals with fun incentives for reaching those goals, including the cherished extra recess for students who reach their weekly math goals. Glen Oak is on target to make great gains in math this year, and we're excited to watch our students learn, grow, and succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. All right, Mr. Rose, ROP report.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to thank the board for supporting funding for the ROP program. We paid at the last board meeting to support the ROP. They appreciated your support, 100% support for our program, ROP. At the last board meeting, we talked about an audited report that showed the budget, how we doing the next 2 or 3 years. The ROP budget is different than our budget, by the way, through what do you call that? Through the fees and grants, and that will allow us to continue to provide classes for students who apply there. And it was really good report. It looks good, and the report. I also want to say that at the last board meeting they were talking about different programs in different high schools, and the variety of programs provided to the students there. Acting program, the Walnut, Charter Oak, Baldwin Park. I mean, they're a fantastic program there. Very active. The teachers are enthusiastic, and I'm telling the board that they're ready to move on to the next school year. Looking forward to that. And our next meeting will be in the middle of October. Back to you, Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. This takes us to item 9, Superintendent Report, Dr. Kim.
Thank you, President Peterson, Board of Trustees. It's great seeing you all again this evening. For my report, I'd like to first start off with just sharing good news that's happening in our classrooms. We're a little over 1 month into the school year, and it really is neat to see students, staff, certificated teachers and support staff, classified staff, administrators, really expressing the theme that we started off this year, which is this is home. That you are students that belong here, you're staff that are welcome here, you are people that we need here to make sure that we have a vibrant community, and you see this in the work that's happening in our classrooms. I've been really impressed by, just through site visits, the meaningful connections that our adults are making in and out of the classroom. I've been impressed by the real-world experiences that our students are being exposed to. Heather pointed out Senator Rubio coming and visiting our schools and our government classes and talking about what government looks like and how students can get involved in their civic expression of their civic responsibility. We've had classroom visits where we've seen real-life demonstrations of math, probability, and statistics. We've seen classrooms in elementary schools where teachers are explaining different roles that social scientists play, anthropologists and political scientists and sociologists. And that's just really impressive that these are deep connections to learning that students are making. And the last thing I think I want to point out as it relates to the learning is how we are allowing students to express their voice. And again, this is demonstrated in the classroom. This is demonstrated outside the classroom. And just making brief commentary with President Peterson, how impressive students like Heather is. I mean, just being able to articulate their learning, their expression, and their experiences at school. So just really proud of the work that's happening in our school sites. If I can update also this board on the action plan, the work that's in place or in process as it relates to making sure that we are meeting one of the pillars of our success, which is fiscal responsibility. And I pointed out at our last meeting that we have some work to do, that we are in a budget where we have to identify nearly $3 million in reductions over the next couple years. And that is work that we intend on doing. That is work that we're proud of doing, that we've done in terms of identifying reductions over the last several years, primarily through really utilizing enrollment-based staffing procedures and formulas. We're allowing things like attrition to take its course in terms of really analyzing, must we rehire a position if we've had a retirement? Operational efficiencies, right? And really living leaner in these current times. And we're experiencing these times, as a reminder, because of declining enrollment. We're experiencing these times because we're not receiving the types of state and federal funds that we've received before. And so we've had to make do with what we have right now. And again, I'm impressed with what our staff is able to accomplish with our current funds. I want to report that we are convening a budget advisory committee in the near weeks, and we will work with all walks of life, from our certificate and classified staff. We'll work with parents, we'll work with students to gather input and feedback so that we can maintain a fiscal stability and provide feedback on the ongoing work ahead. Lastly, if I could just report out, the Charter Oak Ed Foundation is having a fundraiser. It is also a celebration of Spaghetti Eddies in Glendora, their 40th anniversary. And what that will entail next Monday is a contest, a very competitive contest between myself and the superintendent of Glendora Unified, Dr. DeGrazia, and it's going to be a spaghetti eating contest. And I just want to make note to this board and to the public that Dr. DeGrazia has no chance, and I'm going to win. So with that, that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Dr. Kim. That takes us to item 12, presentations. Dr. Kim?
All right, I'd like to have our Chief Business Officer, Ms. Creel Branford, prepare for what's become as part of the annual budget cycle, and she'll explain that. The first step is closing out the 24-25 books, and so what's referred to as the unaudited actuals, and I will turn it over to Ms. Branford, please.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. Good evening, Board President Peterson, Vice President Dr. Aguilar, members, staff, and community. Tonight, I am pleased to present to you the 24-25 Unaudited Actuals Report. The presentation and recommended approval are an Ed Code requirement. The Unaudited Actuals is the reporting of all the financial activities for the fiscal year that seeks to quantify the actual revenues and expenditures. But more importantly, this is used to update the beginning fund balance of the 25-26 adopted budget that was previously approved in June of this year. Before I get into the numbers, I really want to extend my appreciation to Nikki, my new Fiscal Services Director. Nikki did a wonderful job of getting all the necessary entries into the financial system to close the books and generate the required report. Okay, so this slide is really just an overview, a graphic of the budget cycle that the district goes through. And so we are currently at the unaudited actuals report, which is due this month, September 15th. We previously adopted the budget and the LCAP in June of this year. And also there is a revised adopted budget within 45 days of the governor's approval of the state budget. This year, there weren't any significant changes, and therefore we did not need to adjust the budget. Oh, thank you. Okay, so this next slide is an overview of the general fund. This is the unrestricted side of the general fund. And so what we look at, we make a comparison between the estimated actuals, which was done in June while we were presenting the adopted budget, and we compare that to the unaudited actuals, which we just completed. And so we looked at the variance to see how far off we ended the year. And looking at our revenues, we were estimating approximately 47.3 million, and the actuals turned out to be 48.6, which is an increase in revenues of 1.2 million. We also look at our expenditures, and we were estimating 51.6 million. We ended up spending 51.2, which means we spent just a little bit lower than we expected, 355,000 lower. This is also good for us. It means that we didn't spend all that we projected to spend, so therefore we show some savings. And the variance, the change is very small. Looking at the restricted side of the books, again, this is the general fund, but you know we have a lot of categorical programs, or special education is also on this side of the books. And so we estimated 34.9 million, we ended with 34.8, so just a little bit under what we estimated. Our restricted expenditures was projected to be 39.5 million. We ended the year spending 36.4. Again, this is a huge gap of 3.1 million, but it's a restricted side. We have a lot of categorical programs that do allow carryovers, and so the variance doesn't really matter on this side of the books because they're allowed to have those carryovers. This slide really shows just a big picture of the fund balances throughout the fiscal year. As you know, we have different cycles in the budget. We look at the adopted budget, the first interim, second estimated actuals, and now the actuals. And just doing a comparison, we started out with 8.3 million, which was approximately 10% in reserves. At the first interim, we had a very low projection. Again, it's a picture in time. It's based on the spending. It's based on projections. But by the second interim, with more adjustments and more closely looking at the books, we were able to revise that balance to 4.9 million. We estimated 4.1 million, but we ended up with 5.7, which is higher than we had estimated. Again, that's good for our fund balance. And so we see that we've ended the books with 6.55%. Clearly, we are spending down our reserves. We started out with 8.3, and now we're at 5.7. This next slide is a big picture that shows the multi-year projection. This was presented at the adopted budget, and as I stated earlier, the unaudited actuals updates the fund balance at this point in time. And so looking at our beginning fund balance for the 25-26 adopted budget, we were estimating 4.1 million as the beginning fund balance. We're now updating that with the 5.7 that we ended with the unaudited actuals. It's also important to note that we've deficit spent 2.6 million. Those are the actuals. So we've spent 2.6 more in expenditures than our revenues coming in. Looking at our adopted 25-26, we've updated that. And so we're seeing a little bit more in our fund balance. After the 3% reserves, we do have some carryovers in our supplemental and concentration fund, which is our LCAP. And we also still set aside that 1.1 million for the 1% negotiated salary increase, which we are currently working to update the books. And after all of that, we do have 1.5 million, which will be a part of our fiscal stabilization plan. Our 26-27 year shows that we are deficit spending 1.9. However, the fund balance has increased from 4.7 to 6.3. But overall, we're seeing a little over 600,000 as additional revenues or fund balance that we can continue to use to stabilize the budget. Our 27-28 also shows a small deficit spending, but it's key to note that for the 25-26, the current year, that we are transferring $2.5 million from our special reserve fund, Fund 17, in order for us to balance the budget. We also built into our 26-27 and 27-28 those reductions that Dr. Kim spoke about. We're looking at 1.5 million reductions. It's actually built into the budget, and another 1.2 that's built into the 27-28 year in order for us to balance the budget. We also have other funds, other operating funds that we do report on. And as you can see, all funds are showing a positive ending fund balance. We have activities in our student activity fund, which is our ASB, our adulted fund, cafeteria fund, deferred maintenance, our developer fees, and our capital projects fund, as well as our child development fund. And all funds have a positive ending balance. There aren't any encroachment on the general fund. Again, that's also good for the district. Our next steps will be the first interim report. So since the adopted budget, we have not changed the budget. So we will now start working and reconciling all the expenditures, reconciling revenues, and then we'll have a report in December. We'll also have the audited financial report. The auditors will be with us next month to conduct the final audit for the 24-25 fiscal year, and we will have that report sometime in December or January. That's my report. I'll be happy to take your questions.
Any questions? Questions?
I have
Mr.
a
Rose.
comment that, thank you for the report. And you and your new staff, fiscal director,
Nikki.
you can listen, you're like, okay, you're back there. Thank you, you two, for the job well done on this. And I thank Dr. Kim for bringing it up your report indicating we need to be more proactive in this budget. My final comment is that this board is really interesting. They have all stakeholders involved in this so that we can really work together to balance our budget in the next 2-3 years. This board really emphasized we need to involve all stakeholders from top and bottom so that we can work together to solve this problem, and we can do it. Back to you, Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Dr. Aguilar?
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Branford, for the presentation. It's always great news when, you know, the conservative budgeting plays out and we see that in the actuals, we have an increase in revenue beyond what we projected, and even additionally, a decrease in expenditures to a certain degree. I was wondering if you could provide some examples of where we saw some of those increases in revenue or decreases in expenditure from the time that we had our last interim and before looking at the actuals.
So for the revenues, looking back on the details, I did recognize that we received some additional revenues in our interest earned. And some of those are from the categorical programs, but they do put that into the unrestricted. So throughout the year, we weren't capturing it, but it does show up at the end of the year because those are from the restricted side of the books. And so because we had quite a bit of categorical programs, we did earn quite a bit of revenues on that, interest.
Okay.
The expenditure is really small, so it's kind of difficult for me to point out, especially in the unrestricted side. We only underspent by $355,000. So it could be, you know, expenditures that weren't projected out for the whole year or expenditures that are considered one time. And so some of those could have been maybe stipends or, you know, small expenditures that didn't come to fruition. It's mainly budgeted, but not necessarily means that you'll spend it all. So at that dollar amount, it could be just small budgets that just happened, you know, throughout the year periodically, and it wasn't necessarily a full year's budget.
Great, thank you. Additionally, we have also on slide 6 looking at our currently adopted budget, recently adopted budget for 25-26, as well as the next 2 out years. And with the reductions built in, we do see a trend towards a balanced budget in the sense of getting closer to having more of a zeroed out net increase, decrease year over year. Obviously, that would be the goal, is to see that reach that point or potentially even have a structural surplus of some sort. But that would then also require for those reductions to be largely in ongoing areas, right? I mean, they couldn't be reductions in one time. Otherwise, any other ongoing expenditures would result in returning to a structural deficit, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. McGuire?
Thank you so much for your report. And I just wanted to double tap. You said 1.5 million in reductions for next year and then 1.2 million for the following year, so totaling approximately $2.7 million. And that's what we need to do to get this outlook.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to you and your team for not only giving us the report, but being proactive and getting us to a position that we can deal with. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, that'll take us to public comments. And as a reminder, 3 minutes per, 20 minutes per topic. And the first one would be Christian Barrientos.
Well, good evening, board and board president. I stand in representation of a nonprofit organization named Justice for Youth, and we exist to mentor at-promise communities and to develop people, scholars, and leaders. And we approach this program on campus, specifically Arrow High School, to re-engage students quickly to get back into their academic journey. We provide social and emotional and also academic support to our students. And we want to just simply express our gratitude for you guys allowing us to be on that campus, because we know how much the need is in this community and surrounding communities as well. And the reason why we do this is because I was one of those youngsters that had a very hard time in school and graduated with the skin in my teeth. And so we just want to say thank you. And we know that this program works because I'm a product of it. And so we just want to say thank you for allowing us to be at Arrow High School, as we've seen a dramatic difference in the way that mentors like David and his student are here, and seeing just the whole, change that has happened, and specifically at Arrow High School. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. And that'll bring us to David Melendez and Dylan Arian.
Yes, hello. The name's David. I'm the mentor at Arrow High School, and I just came here to say, to thank you guys for allowing me to stay back into the campus. I was there last year throughout the entire journey. This is one of my students that I actually met at Charter Oak High School, and I've been connecting with him even when he transferred to Arrow High School. And I just want to say, again, a huge congrats, because this is something that I wish I had when I was in high school. I went through a rough time growing up, and I never had anybody that I could talk to. I'm not sure how it was with your guys', but with my family, we never really had discussions like these, topics like these, regarding, feelings, certain topics like responsibility, those type of things. And so to be able to be here and stand here in front of you guys, and no less with a student of mine, it just brings, a warmth to my heart. And so I'll let my student right here just introduce himself real quick, say a little something.
I'm Dylan Orion. I went to Charter Oak. I missed a lot of days, and he had helped me. I started going to school more often. He told me that Arrow can help me catch up. I went to Arrow. I started going to school, and I started doing better.
Thank you, guys. That'll bring us to Mr. Montez.
Which topic did I have first?
Technology, please.
Okay. Oopsie daisy. All right, before I get started, I want to say thank you to Lori McSally, Executive Assistant to the Superintendent of Charter Oak Unified School District. Thank you for all you do. I want to say Caril Bradford, thanks for all your kindness and great management skills, Chief Business Officer. And now I'll get started. Okay. So basically, we keep having these new positions and they keep getting more money created, so I just want to mention that to the honorable board members. So let me tell you what I have on technology. First of all, I just want to thank Eric and his team for all they do for the district. Information technology assistant, instructional technology, assessment tech, information systems technician, information systems data specialist, information systems technician, network specialist, and information systems technician lead. These staff employees are fighting viruses, bad emails, and just protecting Charter Oak webpage. Let us thank our webmasters for letting us know if it's a bad email or just spam, or you just been hacked. These technicians have been battling broken laptops that just don't have it in them anymore. These technicians clean up computers, making them safe for the next wave of children and ready to use safely. These technicians jump on a moment's notice to help the teacher out immediately with their computer or Promethean board. The technology doesn't stop here. It keeps getting updated. Larger screens and more demanding workloads for our technicians. After negotiations, if you find extra cash, please give them a one-time bonus. I know what they're worth. Do you know what they're worth, board members?
Thank you, sir. You can go ahead and stay up there if you like. Yeah.
Okay. Second one, honorable board members. First of all, we have two people running the warehouse. I've seen both of these guys in action. I've seen them deliver books in the summer, white paper during each year, each pallet to each school site. As the workloads and custodial orders get bigger, these two guys fill orders and keep a good stock when there's money for them to order. We all know there is a cutoff date where you can't order. These two guys unload trucks with large trailers at M&O. These two guys deliver trays and food. They keep the cafeterias going and deliver special carts to some schools to keep food warm. Most of all, they keep the mail service moving in our district, from inter-district service to board members' mail. They deliver payroll checks to special orders of furniture, which are sometimes not put in together, such as cabinets and rolling desks and office chairs that need to be put together. I would like to ask the board members to recognize Alex and Steve. If you find extra cash after negotiations, please give these two guys a stipend to keep Charter Oak going. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, bring us to Christina Austria.
Hi, my name is Christina Austria. Thank you for having me here. I'm here to speak on behalf of Lexi Buntain. She has had a lot of things happen to her because of the special education department. You didn't include her parents in the educational planning by unilaterally changing her behavior and intervention to planned ignoring. You refused to assess her for autism when requested, and also did not give parents prior written notice when you would not assess for autism. This district makes the job of being a parent to a special needs child harder than it should be. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, ma'am. Lisa Brute? Britt? That's all right? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Britt. I did not appreciate John Raymond calling me and questioning me about my son, acting like I lied about my son graduating high school while being homeschooled. I have his actual certificate of, we had to dig that out of my mom's, So if anybody wants to see, because, where? Oh, because you did ask for that, right? No. You did, I promise. I promise. We did dig it out because we're really proud. Because I didn't go to school to be a teacher, but we did have to teach him because we wanted him to graduate. And I had to remove my son from school to enable him to learn. This school district has a history of failing our children with disabilities that you should know about. I have other family members that were pulled, and I have custody right now of my granddaughter. She will be homeschooled. I am learning how to teach her right now. She's at preschool age, but I hope Lexi Buntain gets what she needs so she could have a good future and to make it easier for her parents as well. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Iris Abrego?
Good evening. I am a social worker and I'm here to support Lexi. I am concerned with Lexi was moved into a restricted placement that excluded her from general education kids before trying more behavior interventions with her. You gave up and transferred her into C's social emotional class and then to a non-public school where she was assaulted. Worse, once you placed her at the non-public school, you forgot about her for months. There was no 30-day interim IEP, and no one was even implementing Lexi's Charter Oak IEP. Your special education director called me and was very arrogant to me and also some of our other parents. I will tell a parent, if you have a kid with disability, you need an attorney to deal with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Teresa Buntain?
Hi, I'm Teresa Buntain. I have had several children come through the Charter Oak District. What happened to us and Lexi should not happen to anyone, but here are the cliff notes. Lexi was not given adequate behavior interventions. Instead of giving her appropriate behavior services, her team just kept moving her into more restrictive placements, violating the least restrictive environment mandate, requiring kids to be educated with non-disabled peers to the maximum extent possible. The district cut RAP services just when she started making progress. Your special ed director had her going to school for only 3 hours a day and then took 2 months to place her into our own self-paced classroom. Why? I also found out from talking to others that they have never been told by a special education director to be careful of using the words like regression. Bullying has no place in special education.
Michael Buntain?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. I am Michael Buntain, Lexi's father. I'm here just to reiterate the issues we've had with the special education department. I have a few children with IEPs, and there are multiple other children that the special education department has also failed. My child has lost a lot of her educational progress due to this Charter Oak School District Special Ed Department, and something has to be done. We've been in this school district for 30 plus years. Thank you for letting me talk.
Tony Whittingslow?
Hi, I'm Tony Whittingslow. You put my boy in the wrong summer school class, and he wasted part of his summer. I did not have a good experience with the special education department at Charter Oak. I know from my experiences being a parent with a kid with an IEP is harder than it should be. A parent should not need an attorney to get appropriate education at our district. And I'm definitely here for Lexi Buntain.
Thank you, sir. Sully Pena?
Good evening, Board. I'm here for Lexi Buntain because she was denied an appropriate education for too long. Your special education director called me and questioned me on the phone. Here's how special education department failed her. You did not give her appropriate behavior intervention services. You removed her wraparound services when she began to show progress. You refused to allow her to attend school for a full day and made her parents pick her up at 11 a.m. You moved her into even increasingly restrictive placements without access to any general education, kids without offering her more behavior intervention, excluding her. Your team unilaterally changed her behavior intervention plan and used plan ignoring, which escalated Lexi and caused her to begin to distrust teachers. You did this without telling her parents. You moved her into a horrific county placement, and instead of convening an IEP in 30 days, which is the law, you waited almost 3 months while she was assaulted and no one carried out her IEP. I could go on, but there is a time limit. Please help all our disabled kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Jose Ferrer? Jose? How do you say your last name, sir?
Ferrer.
Ferrer? Okay, thank you.
Good evening, board. I am here to support Alexi. You are not getting the full story of special education under John Raymond. This child was denied the services she needed for years. You had her going to school for 3 hours a day only at one point. It took your staff months to get a referral and placement to your own SELPA's school. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Araceli?
Hi, my name is Araceli. I have a child with disabilities and I am here to support Lexi. John Raymond called me after I spoke last month and he wanted to know if I had a child in this district. I told him I lived in Whittier. He sounded such sarcastic with me when he said, but you don't have a child in the district. It seemed like he was trying to diminish what I said. His tone was belittling, and he did not even try to understand. I wanted him to understand parents of children with disabilities need collaboration. We don't need our schools to give us more obstacles than we already have. We need to work together. He ended by sarcastically saying, if there's anything I can help you with, I will. But he didn't mean it.
Thank you,
He does not want to help. He does want the control. Please help our children with disabilities. Parents don't need more adversities. We need to partner for our children's sake.
Thank you. And then I'll bring us to Mr. Portillo.
My advocacy is about government, fairness. As the administrators see the highlights, this is regards to years ago, certificated teachers would not return from lunch and left the two remaining teachers with 70 to 1, 40 to 1, 140, and nobody wants to admit where they went. But it's understood where they went. They went to the high school. So in that letter, these types of activities are the things that everyone ignores and doesn't want to talk about. Move down. I believe the situation Julie, a certificated instructor in that program, described of being left alone with 70 students occurs. This is very important. It has not been approved by any means. Julie Bach Harrison, who is now a senior administrator of Covina Valley, I believe she's doctorate running the education department. Julie's testimony of the Charter Oak Unified School District Governing Board complained that certificated instructors of Royal Oak Middle School, known as Dawn and Roger, abandoned the workplace assignment by not returning from lunch break. This occurred daily, every day, between December through November. This occurred for approximately 5 years. This is a violation of the labor agreement between Charter Oak Unified District and the certificated employees. The documentation of Dawn and Roger not returning from the classroom lunch break has not been approved by no means, according to administrators. This act of employing an employee abandoning assigned workplace and falsifying payroll are felony counts of conspiracy to commit grand theft, felony count of grand theft under California Penal Code 182A1 and Penal Code 487A. I demand the following questions be answered. Did an inquiry take place regarding the abandonment of class by these two instructors? If yes, please provide the findings of the investigation. The certificated employees who abandoned the workplace, did they receive full pay, although not in the classroom? This is wrongful, and I gave it only to the administrators because I will continue on this advocacy, okay? It is a good night. I apologize what your children are going through.
Okay, that'll take us to item 14, discussion, board policy revisions, and it's a first reading. And as a reminder, first reading is to provide suggestions, recommendations for staff as needed. First reading for board policy 3550, food services, child nutrition program. Board policy 3551, food service operations, cafeteria fund. Board policy 3553, free and reduced price meals. Board policy 3554, other food sales. Board policy 4030, non-discrimination in employment. Board policy 4040, employee use of technology. Board policy 5147.27, food allergies, special dietary needs. And board bylaw 9011, disclosure of confidential privileged information. Any discussion? Oh, yeah, thank you, Mr. Rose. Nice save. Yeah, it's just a discussion, but thank you. Any discussion on it? Yes, ma'am.
I just have a clarifying question. The disclosure of confidential and privileged information, do we know what the update is? Or can you share? I know you know.
Yeah, give me a moment here. Let me pull it up. Just general information that just really emphasizes the points around the confidentiality related to closed session matters. The language, just I think there's structural things and organization that makes it a little bit more seamless to read as compared to the prior narrative format that it had. I think it lists it more in a specific examples, right? So it also clarifies what is information considered confidential. It clarifies the government codes associated to what is not considered confidential, as well as components of what would occur if there was a violation of confidential material.
Mr. Rose?
Thank you, Dr. Kim and the staff for bringing this up to the board, and looking forward to see more update with all the other board policy. Thank you.
All right. Anything further on this? Dr. Aguilar?
Thank you. Yeah, I had a few questions. We had several board bylaws being revised around the areas of food service, free and reduced price meals, other food sales. There seemed to be some redundant language between the bylaws. Is that by design? Is that anything that we look at for efficiency or, removing any kind of redundant language between the separate bylaws?
Carl, you have any opinion on that one with regards to the language? Perhaps some that seem redundant in the food services areas?
And when I say redundant, also for clarification, I think some paragraphs are nearly verbatim, referencing other bylaws sometimes in that case. So I just was wanting clarification on whether that's necessary or not.
Right. I am not too clear on the specific ones, but maybe there do seem to be crossovers because they have different types of food programs. And so maybe that's why you're seeing almost like a duplicate, that they do crossover. But I think it just depends on where the funding is coming from, whether it's the state or the federal, and if it's a breakfast program versus a lunch program. So maybe there is some overlaps between the different programs.
Also, so in the new updated bylaws, it refers to students being provided their school meals at no cost, which is a result of funding that's received from the state to be able to provide that. So with this type of language being entered into Charter Oak District Board bylaws, in the event that the state did not fund meals, then how does this updated language then apply?
Well, I would think that CSBA would be able to capture some of that and then recommend an update to the policy at that time.
So that would require another update at that
Yes.
time if that were to change.
Correct.
And I presume that update would have to occur before implementation, essentially, right? Because any standing bylaws we would have to adhere to.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I really appreciate a lot of the language that's in these food-related bylaws. They do emphasize the importance of nutritionally adequate meals, specifically ones that include fresh fruits and vegetables, minimally processed sustainable foods, which are locally grown or produced. So I kind of just want to say I'm glad to see that being entered into the board bylaw. I think that's important to have that specified. I was wondering if the board might also, or what the board thinks about maybe including socially or culturally sensitive food offerings as well, where appropriate, or being able to provide priority to those types of offerings.
I think that's something that our food department's always exploring because they want kids to actually explore different cultures. We are diverse, and so the department actually does look at that. And they'll do surveys with students. They'll actually test out different food types because the director did mention that she was looking to explore different cultures. So that's always something that they have as an option to share out with students.
So I think, and it may be somewhat a formality of sorts, but to really kind of codify that practice, not that there is any language of shall or must, but as we see already in here, to kind of prioritize certain types of offerings, such as minimally processed sustainable foods, being able to also give priority to adding some of that language if that's something we might want to consider doing.
We can review that as well and determine the appropriate place to input that. I think it would essentially codify a practice that we have already, which again is also a great thing for our community.
Yeah, that was brought up at the board study session, that she does that regularly.
Yeah.
So memorialize, that would be good.
But it would be great to, include the language. I agree with Dr. Aguilar.
And that's all for me. Thank you.
Ms. Flores? Anything else on that? All right. That'll take us to the PLA, Project Labor Agreement. And I will...
Mr. President, I want to correct my error. When I said I moved the motion, I was wrong. It was a discussion.
That's all
I
right.
apologize for jumping in the head.
No
Action
worries.
item thing.
I appreciate you looking out for me, though. Thank you, sir. No worries.
So I apologize.
It's all good. Dr. Kim?
All right. We've had a discussion around this topic perhaps about a little over a year ago, around project labor agreements. And I think there's an interest from this board to re-engage in just a discussion around it. We've invited a partner with the firm Orbach, Huff and Henderson, Mr. Glenn Gold, who has been incredibly supportive of educating us and did so last time. And we invited him back so that he can remind us about what a project labor agreement is, perhaps give some general, lack of better words, pros and cons that's cited in literature around project labor agreements, and most importantly, just answer questions from this board around PLAs and just promote that discussion that we're hoping for. So, Mr. Gould, please, if you don't mind.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kim. Good evening, board members. Yes, I was here. You probably don't remember, but it was at least a year ago that I did a PowerPoint presentation for you on, and we discussed project labor agreements, pros and cons. This will be a quick summary of what we discussed then, just simply as a refresher. A project labor agreement is a pre-hire collective bargaining agreement between the various construction trades who work on district projects and contractors who will be working on district projects, and the district, of course. The key components of any project labor agreement are all of the workers who are going to work on school district construction projects have to be registered with the pertinent union hiring hall for their trade. Number one. Number two, all workers, regardless of whether they are union workers or not, are going to be hired out of the hiring halls for the respective trades. Number three, all contractors who work on PLA-covered projects, regardless of whether they are signatories to union agreements or not, are going to be required to pay into union benefit programs on behalf of their workers. So taking that last point about paying into these programs, that's provided, I guess, some of the controversy, if you will, surrounding PLAs, in that, let's say you are a non-union contractor and you have already benefit programs for your employees that require you to contribute to them. And then you are also, if you're going to submit a bid on a PLA-covered project, also going to be required to pay into union benefit programs on behalf of those workers. Well, now when you are formulating your bid, you have to essentially factor in a double payment of benefits into your bid. So in the typical bidding situation where the lowest responsible bidder is awarded the work, the argument is that that non-union contractor is at a competitive disadvantage because they have to double pay, factoring that into their bids, so they're less likely to get the work. And then the argument goes, you don't have to have an economics degree to understand that if you are limiting the bidding pool, you are driving up the costs of your projects. So the argument is that you're going to pay more because of that for those projects because you will have a smaller bidding pool. So that's one of the big cost arguments that we hear about. The other cost argument is that in order to coordinate all of the requirements on a PLA, the district needs to have additional staff or additional staff time to monitor that process. And of course, all that time is money. So those are the arguments that you'll hear about from the anti-PLA side, if you will, about the concerns with PLAs. What the people who are in favor of PLAs will tell you is that the district gets a lot of distinct benefits from these agreements. First and foremost, they believe that the work performed by union workers is superior to the work that is performed by non-union workers, that their training, their apprenticeship programs are superior to the programs that non-union workers are in, and therefore the work is superior. Of course, that's an important benefit. Another thing that they will say is we can provide as part of these project labor agreements career technical education for your district students who are interested in going into the construction trades. We can have those students come to job fairs where they can learn about work and job opportunities in the trades. We can come and do in-services at your school programs, and we can even get them priority entrance into pre-apprenticeship programs once they graduate school. So these are, of course, significant benefits, of course, at least for those districts that actually have these CTE programs. That's something that they can take advantage of. And of course, that you'll have no strikes, lockouts, things like that. You will have union peace as long as you have a PLA in place. So that's sort of the basic landscape of the pros and cons of these agreements. To address that problem that I referenced earlier about non-union contractors having difficulty bidding on PLA-covered projects, what we typically try to do when negotiating these agreements is to have what we would call a carve-out, meaning typically we'll set a threshold and we'll say all projects that have a construction cost estimate of $1 million or less are not going to be covered. How does that help? It helps because typically non-union contractors are working on smaller, relatively speaking, smaller projects under $1 million, number one. So it allows them to be able, gives them the opportunity to work on those projects where a PLA is not involved. The equity in that, as the argument is typically put, is those non-union contractors are also members of your community. They've also had their, if it's, there's a bond program in place, and there usually is, there's a bond that is encumbering their property just like anyone else's, and that fairness dictates that they should have the opportunity to get the opportunity to bid on that work on a fair playing field for them. So that's typically what we'll try to do in that instance. So that's really the overview of the key issues. There's other things, of course, if we get down into it and the district wants to continue on this path, we can talk about other issues and concerns, but that's the overview. For now, I'm happy to entertain any questions that you might have.
All right, we have any questions? Ms. Flores?
I just have more of a comment. I know we don't have any huge projects coming down the pipeline, but this is something that other districts have done, and I think it's important that we can tailor a project labor agreement to support Charter Oak High School graduates, veterans, so we could tailor it to help support our community, help support workers that live in our community that reside here. So
yeah,
that's definitely a benefit.
There's one thing I'd like to add. Just well, we do. It doesn't have to be part of a PLA, but it's not unusual for us to include in a PLA a local hiring goals. Now, you can't have mandatory local hire. That's a constitutional issue. But what you can certainly do is have goals of having, let's say, 30% or 40% of the workers on these projects be hired locally. And local, of course, is usually defined with zip codes that are within the district boundary. And then if contractors fail to meet those goals, there's some requirement that they at least demonstrate due diligence in trying to meet those goals.
Are these, would this agreement be year to year, or is it one agreement till it changes?
Typically, they cover specific bond programs, meaning so the term of the agreement is dictated by when the last covered project under the bond is completed.
And if we have no bond?
I mean, you can have, if you have a project labor, I mean, there are some districts that have project labor agreements that are not tied to a specific bond. In those cases, what they're covering usually is smaller deferred maintenance projects, which are not part of the bond, or, but, quite honestly, the structure doesn't, there's so much additional administrative overlay with PLA covered projects that if you're going to start taking these, what are almost always lower valued projects or CUPCA projects, which are even lower, it just doesn't make sense. And in negotiating these agreements with the trades, although typically acknowledge as much when we start talking about carve-outs.
Thank you, sir. Any further questions?
Yeah, got some questions.
Dr. Aguilar?
Thank you. So from your recent comment then, typically a PLA may be entered upon for projects that are having a floor of what type of dollar amount? I mean, you mentioned carve-outs under $1 million, so is it fair to say that usually over $1 million projects, that's typically the range?
Correct.
And then what would kind of be a typical timeline at which, if a district were entering into a PLA, about in terms of having a project that is planned and identified, usually when in that process would a PLA negotiation take place?
Typically, when we first have our clients mention PLAs to us, they're in the bond campaign phase. They've got a bond measure on the ballot that they're preparing for, and that's typically the time when the local trades council will approach board members and say, hey, here you're going out for a bond, we'd love to help you, we'll knock on doors, do other things that we can to assist. And that's usually the time when they'll say, and it would really be great to get a project labor agreement in place as well. So we'll start talking about it then. Sometimes the agreement is put in place before the bond measure passes, but that's pretty rare. Usually we'll talk, we'll work out maybe even potential terms, but nothing gets inked until the bond measure actually passes.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Mr. Rose?
I'm right here. Hi. Is there any exemption to project labor agreement, like you mentioned small business and large business, but is there a limit? Let's say the small business had a staff of 25, are they exempted from this labor agreement, or that agreement cover all businesses, or all contractors?
Well, it's covering contractors. And it does cover all contractors who are going to work on the project. What I was talking about was, how do you carve out work from the agreement, make an exception for some of the non-union contractors to make sure that they still get some of the work out of the bond. There's a separate issue, which is small business enterprise policies, and that might be what you're thinking about, because we did discuss that last time I was here, where smaller businesses get advantages in the bidding process. But that's a different matter. It's certainly related to the extent that it's another attempt to try and find some equity for our local people, in this case, businesses. Sure, absolutely.
Any further questions? No? All right, sir, thank you.
Thank you very much.
What we're looking for is some suggestions or recommendations for Dr. Kim so we can get moving one way or the other. Any suggestions from anyone?
I mean, from what we're understanding, or at least what I'm understanding, this seems like, the determination of whether there are specific pros and cons is going to be, kind of unique, kind of a case-by-case basis on particular projects, depending on how those negotiations go. So, I mean, I think the possibility of a project labor agreement, of course, therefore, should kind of always be on the table if it's determined that there are more pros than there are cons, or specific pros that are desired by the district or the board. And sounds like in that case, it would be something that would occur if and when a bond were to be campaigned for or awarded or I should say voted upon and approved. So I think it's something that looks like a future matter, but something that should be on the table.
Yes, ma'am.
In the meanwhile, I would be interested in hearing more information about like a local hire policy for our smaller projects prior to a PLA, since we need to get that in alignment with the possibility of a bond. Right, that's what I'm inquiring about, additional information about that.
Okay, so from what I'm getting, the PLA will hold off on right now and work on the local hiring until we get a timeline in case we go forward with the bond. So right now, it's just premature. With that, all right, thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, that'll take us to action items. Business Services 1A1, approval of the 24-25 unaudited actuals. Can I get a motion?
I'll second. I'll
Okay,
second.
I moved.
All right. Any discussion? No, yes,
I just want
ma'am.
to thank Ms. Bradford and Nikki for your work and continuing to just be stellar. So thank you to you and your team. Thank you.
And with no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Rose?
The student rep.
Oh, student rep, thank you. I know. Your call.
Okay, yeah, I approve.
All right. Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. McGuire?
Yes.
Mrs. Flores?
Yes.
Dr. Aguilar?
Yes.
I'm also a yes. Motion passes 5-0 with the student rep in affirm. Takes us to item number 2, Resolution 16-2425, District Appropriation Limits for 25-26. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Rose, second. Dr. Aguilar first. Mr. Rose, second. Any discussion? No discussion? Discussion? No discussion? I'll call for the vote. Heather? Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. McGuire?
Yes.
Mrs. Flores?
Yes.
Dr. Aguilar?
Yes.
I'm also a yes. Motion passes 5-0 with student rep in the affirm also. Takes us to item A3, Resolution 17-2425, designate district authorized agents to the Office of Public School Construction. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote. Heather?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. McGuire?
Yes.
Mrs. Flores?
Yes.
Dr. Aguilar?
Yes.
I'm also a yes. Motion passes 5-0 with a student rep in the affirm. That'll take us to educational B1. It's a public hearing regarding sufficiency of instructional materials, and I'll open the public hearing now. Do we have any cards? No cards? Anyone want to speak on behalf of this topic? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And we'll move on to Resolution 13-2425 and certification regarding sufficiency of instruction materials. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Yeah, I got a question. Dr. Kim, is this any way associated with the Williams Act?
I'll let Dr. Mustafa answer that question.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. Yes, we do this every year. We bring it to board. We just so happened to be audited this year with 2 of our elementary schools, and both schools were found sufficient in the instructional materials.
Thank you. Ms. McGuire?
Is there a score higher than sufficient?
Not to my knowledge.
Very good. Great work, guys.
And I'll go ahead and call for the vote. Heather?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mrs. Flores?
Yes.
Dr. Aguilar?
Yes.
I'm also a yes. Motion passes 5-0 with the student rep in the affirmative, which will take us to human resources. Okay. Okay. Human Resources Resolution 12-2425, Week of the School Administrator. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Can I get a second? Mr. Rose?
I'll second.
All right, we got you, sir. Any discussion? Mr. Rose?
I know that in the district level, higher level, there's shortage of staff, and you guys been sharing that responsibility together. It really helped the district. I mean, it went really smooth the first few weeks of school. Thankful that you, Dr. Kim, and all your staff there for the job well done, making the school transition smooth. Keep up the good work.
Any other discussion? No, I'd like to say thank you to our administrators. I know I see them regularly at the schools, after hours, doing all the extra work. I was actually talking to Robin last night about the same thing at the high school. And they put in so much extra time beyond the typical 7 to 5, and it's greatly appreciated. Our kids count on them, we count on them, and it's good that we're able to recognize them. So with that, I'll call for the vote. Heather?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. McGuire?
Yes.
Mrs. Flores?
Yes.
Dr. Aguilar?
Yes.
I'm also a yes. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, on this one, Heather, you're not voting. Actually, never mind. Okay, right now we're on a public, I was looking at my notes here. Okay, public hearing on the initial sunshine proposal from COUSD for Charter Oak Educators Association, COEA, for the 24-25 school year. Can I get a motion? Actually, it's a public hearing. I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Any comments, cards, discussion? No, with that, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And that'll move on to, this one you're not voting on. Okay, acceptance of sunshine proposal from COUSD for negotiations with Charter Oak Educators Association. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Any discussion? No discussion, I'll call for the vote. Heather? No, you're not voting on this one, never mind. Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. McGuire?
Yes.
Mrs. Flores?
Yes.
Dr. Aguilar?
Yes.
I'm also a yes. Motion passes 5-0. That'll take us to item C4. No, yeah, C4, provisional internship permit authorization. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
I just want to make a comment that we have 2 young student teachers at Badillo Elementary, Hannah and Marissa, both of which attended Badillo, so they will hopefully come back to Charter Oak and teach here, but I just want to acknowledge the importance of the internship program.
And with that, no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. Heather?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mrs. Flores?
Yes.
Dr. Aguilar?
Yes.
I'm also yes. Motion passes 5-0 with the student rep in the affirmative. Takes us to item D1, CD1, actually D1, Resolution 152425, certification of signatures. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Dr. Kim, just for the record, this is something that's done every year.
It is done anytime we need to update signatories to the Los Angeles County Office of Education. We want to make sure our new fiscal director is included.
Okay, thank you, sir. With that, any further discussion? No discussion, I'll call for the vote. Heather?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Mrs. McGuire?
Yes.
Mrs. Flores?
Yes.
Dr. Aguilar?
Yes.
I'm also a yes. Motion passes 5-0 with the student rep in the affirmative, which takes us to item 16, the consent calendar. Does anybody want anything pulled? Mr. Rose?
A4, please.
A4,
Contract for project support service.
okay. Anything else? Okay, can I get a motion for the consent, to pass consent calendar except for A4?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? No, I'll call for the vote. Heather?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mrs. Flores?
Yes.
Dr. Aguilar?
Yes.
I'm also a yes. Motion passes 5-0 with student rep in the affirmative. Takes us to item A4, contract public support services. Can I get a motion? Bring that forward.
I move.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion, Mr. Rose?
Yeah. I just want to bring to the attention to the board that this shocked me. This request for services to deal with our first bond measure way back in 2000s, early 2000s. I was on that board, and this is shocking, disappointing that we have seven projects not certified with deficient state architects. So I'm glad that the board, with your vote, it's allowed this to close our project, the seven remaining one, most likely at Royal Oak, but I also saw here says, I want to ask a question about on page 5, not certified project list. Glen Oak Elementary and Willow Elementary School. I'm a little confused. There's 7 on, 7 non-certified, and you got 2. I don't know. I'm a little confused. What's 7 and Glen Oak and Willow have to do with this contract? I want clarification. What do we need to do?
Yeah, I believe, and I'm going to turn it over to Bob just to confirm that those are 2 projects that are specific to this project support services contract that we are closing out. And so what Mr. Rose is pointing out is absolutely correct, is that we do have outstanding projects related to the last bond, of which we didn't go through the formal closeout procedures. And what that entails is making sure that we certify through this contract service or services like this with the DSA that all appropriate steps were taken to make sure we follow all designs, if you will. And so I really actually want to commend Krill and Bob specifically because they are doing the right thing. And so we can't travel back as to why this didn't occur. There is a cost to these types of services, obviously you can tell with this particular contract. But we are scouring through every single one of our existing pieces that we are aware of. We're looking back at back documentation, and we're going to come and make sure that we are closing out these projects, especially as we are considering the possibility or the feasibility of a future bond. We want to make sure that all these projects are appropriately closed out so it doesn't hinder us or create a block from us pursuing future projects.
I have a question. I believe the board back then approved the DSA to close out the project. Do you know the name of the company that did this? That probably did do it, or did we overlook that was not done? I don't
We'd
know.
have
I'm trying to have a better understanding.
We'd have to research some of that documentation. We can try to find and determine that.
I believe the board was interested to know.
Okay.
Okay. My comment is that let's wrap this up and move on to the next steps. My last request is I'd like more documents or work contracts of all the business that involve in this non-certified projects. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, with that, I'll call for the vote. Heather?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Ms. McGuire?
Yes.
Mrs. Flores?
Yes.
Dr. Aguilar?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. Motion passes 5-0 with the student rep in the affirmative. And that would take us to board comments. Heather, would you like to go first?
I don't think I believe I don't have any further comments.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rose?
Just a few. I just want to welcome Heather to the board.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and I am impressed with your composure and for the first time. I know you've been very nervous to do this for the first time, but welcome on board. You're part of our team. We will look forward to your announcement at every meeting, and good luck in your school and education. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you're welcome. And the next thing I wanted to Glen Oak, thank you for the wonderful presentation. And the student was wonderful. Crossing guard is amazing. You have 2, right? Am I saying 2? Can you believe it? 2 guards in that school site? Wow. Where are the little kids? I think there's one in front of the school across Sunflower. Where's the other one at?
The other one is just north of the school on Sunflower and Cookie.
Oh, the behind that near the railroad track. That right? Sunflower and over there. Yes. Gotcha. Yeah. Mr. Peterson, back to you.
Oh, thank you. Ms. McGuire.
You're a talk show host.
Mrs. McGuire.
Oh, first I wanted to say congratulations to Nash, who I think also went to Glen Oak, and scoring a perfect score on the PSAT. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that is fantastic. And then the Honor Society accepts 1% of high school seniors, and so we have one right here at our very own Charter Oak. So that is amazing, and I'm so proud of him. I wanted to thank everyone who joined us. I know everyone who has left now almost works here, but so, thanks for staying. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with us. And to everyone who came this evening, I just wanted to say again that civic engagement is important. And the social studies classes and the U.S. government classes that we all took in elementary and middle and high school are very real. And it's important that we remember those lessons in adulthood and continue to civically participate in our local governments. I also wanted to congratulate our football team and also myself as a sideline coach. I believe that I personally, last year, got that team together to get them to SoFi for that win. That was amazing, and I was really happy to be there on the field, volunteering my coaching services. And then lastly, it is college week, I think, something called Go to College Week. And I think that it's important that we continue to leave all doors open for our students and prepare all of our students to get ready for college, whether they decide to go or not. They have that available to them for whenever they choose, whatever they choose to do with their careers and their lives. And so I'm happy that Charter Oak is prioritizing that for our students. Lastly, welcome Heather to the board. And then as a tip, as a board member or elected official, whenever someone says, do you have any comments? Have some.
Actually, I do have one now.
See?
I want to thank you guys for always preparing students such as myself for college and getting us ready to this point. I feel like this district has very well prepared me. I know exactly where I want to go, what I want to go into, and I know how I need to take those steps. So I want to thank you all for being a part of this.
Thank you. And that concludes my comments.
Mrs. Flores.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Latino Heritage Month. It is the month of, as we celebrate Latinos. I'm proud to be the first Latina on this board, hopefully not the last, but very proud of that. So thank you all for your continued support. And I'm happy to report that the third Flores child that graduated from Charter Oak High School will be attending UC Santa Barbara. We're moving them in on Saturday, so this district has supported my fourth is a senior. But my children have all had stellar education, so thank you to all the teachers that are here. I know Ms. Hopstein, you were his teacher, so thank you. But thank you to all our teachers, everyone that supports this district. And welcome, Heather. You come in with a great smile. Thank you for your professionalism, and you're gonna do great. Anything that we can do to support you, just let us know. And go out and support the football team. Number 24, I know him pretty well, changed his diaper. And number 2, he's my nephew, so let's go Chargers, let's go support our team. Thank you.
Dr. Aguilar.
Thank you.
Just don't say he changed his diaper.
I did not. I
Okay.
can verify that I did not do that. No, I wasn't. No, I was born. I'm older, but I just wasn't changing his diaper. Well, Heather, Ms. Roselli, welcome again. I extend that welcome. It's a lot of fun being in board meetings, as you probably already can tell from your first one. So we look forward to your continued engagement and your representation of your student body at Charter Oak. So it's going to be a wonderful thing. We had a chance to get a lot of the community together recently at the district tailgate that occurred at our first football home game. That was awesome. What a wonderful turnout. So many community members there, so many students from across the district, from all the different levels, elementary, middle, high school. I thought that was wonderful and a great way to celebrate and bring everyone together to kind of really kick off the school year with our awesome football team that won a very tight game that night. It was really exciting. Took it down to the wire. We love that. As mentioned earlier by Ms. Roselle, we have the choir fall showcase. They're performing tonight, which, it's going to be a little towards the end of that performance to make it. I'll try to catch the last song if I can. And I believe they're performing as well tomorrow night for the high school level. Is that's also tonight? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, now I really need to get over there quickly. So I guess I'll wrap this up. And then we have our Oak Tree Challenge coming up that is run by the Charter Oak Ed Foundation, great partners that support our students through a lot of fundraising and scholarships. So I will once again take up the mantle of representing the board. I've registered, I'll be out there. I'd hope registration is still open. This occurs on the morning of Saturday, September 27th. You can choose to run a 5K if you like, or a 1 mile if you like. Either way. And it's a really fun event. It's great. It's in the morning, so it's not too hot yet, and we'll see the best we could do. I haven't been able to have a lot of time to train this year, so let's keep the bar low this year, but I'll do what we can. And with that, thank you very much, Mr. Peterson.
Since you're representing us, I plan on running over 7-minute miles, so you're on.
Oh, 7
No,
minutes.
that's you, not me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
you're
that's my
pledging-
expectations, yes.
You're pledging for me to run
Yes,
this?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, exactly. I could do that. I could do
Cool.
it. The over 60, I'm in. All right, Heather, welcome. Your opinion's extremely valuable. Obviously, none of us are in school, but your opinion gives a great reflection of the decisions we're making here. So when you have something to say, just say it. We appreciate the information, okay? Want to talk about the SoFi football game? I want to congratulate Chris Sweet on all the hard work he did in organizing everything. Natalie Cook in organizing, getting things going, getting the boosters over there. And seeing the band, Joel and the band were there, and that was cool. So good experience for them. Thanks to Robin and her team for getting everything together. I wrote down Dr. Aguilar, 7 minutes. That's about the 7-minute mile. So other than that, football games in Jordan tomorrow, right? That's a bye week? Okay. All right. Jordan in a week from tomorrow. With that, our next meeting is October 2nd, which is a study board session, actually. Is that going to be here, sir? And it's going to be here. And everyone have a good night.